guys are total weeaboos. Which means that the odds are that for a lot of you watching, there's nothing more that you would love than to have your own anime waifu. The 2D girls, they do what the 3D girls simply can't. But there you are, stuck here in your flesh prison. So there's not all that much you can do about it except draw some doodles and get paper cuts. But somewhere out there, someone was living your dream. And that someone was a penguin. A Humboldt penguin in Japan named Grape-kun. It's the greatest love story ever told, but it's not one without heartbreak and tragedy. So sit back while I tell you the story of Grape-kun.
I guess we will play waiting, alright.
Okay, chat, we're going to be playing Skill for 2 days straight now.
Whoa, link.
With an anime waifu.
Didn't quite catch that.
Try hard.
This video is brought to you by the new Star Wars soap collection by Dr. Squatch. The collection, when he was born, he was identified only by the purple ring they put on his wing to identify him. So they gave him the name Grape-kun. Humboldt penguins, which are a species native to South America, particularly Chile, could be like humans in a lot of ways. Particularly when it comes to their relationships with other penguins. One day at the Hamura Zoo, Grape-kun meets a female penguin named Midori, and his behavior is unmistakable. He bows his head and exchanges glances with her. He extends his head up, opens up his wings, and lets out a call. She reciprocates, and thus, now Grape-kun and Midori are a couple. Humboldt penguins tend to be monogamous. When they
How hard is it to remember 2 sentences as a fucking YouTuber? Really? Look at the fucking many edits this guy needs to say like 3 things.
At the Hamura Zoo, Grape-kun meets a female penguin named Midori, and his behavior is unmistakable. He bows his head and exchanges glances with her. He extends his head up, opens up his wings, and lets out a call. She reciprocates, and thus, now Grape-kun and Midori are a couple. Humboldt penguins tend to be monogamous. When they find a partner, that's their partner for life, and Midori was Grape-kun's partner for life. And unlike a lot of other zoo animals, they even got to travel together. In 2006, the Tobu Zoo completed their new penguin enclosure. But you can't have a penguin enclosure without penguins, so arrangements were made for some of the penguins from the Hamura Zoo to go to the Tobu Zoo. Grape-kun and Midori being among the penguins making the move. And at first things are going great. Grape-kun and Midori are adapting to their new surroundings, and they even have a son together named Hanpen. But here's where things start to go south. Hanpen was sent to the Edogawa Zoo to be raised by a foster mother. They never even got to see their chick, and this was a move made to prevent inbreeding. Although ironically, Hanpen would wind up mating with his foster mother. I guess he had 2 broken wings. There's no way to know for sure, but some have theorized that the separation from their chick had damaged the relationship between Grape-kun and Midori. But what really sealed the deal is what happened later in 2010. In 2010, Grape-kun got sick, and for the duration of his treatment, he had to be separated from the other penguins at the zoo, including Midori. But the treatment is a success, and Grape-kun has a long life ahead of him, and they return him to the enclosure. But when he comes back, something's changed. He returns to find that Midori has moved on with another male penguin, a younger male penguin named Denka. And in addition to finding that what was supposed to be his lifelong mate had abandoned him for a younger male, the rest of the flock also began to shun him. Once again, there's no way to know for sure what the penguins were thinking, but it's possible that this was because when he was taken away,
yesterday was Labor Day in the USA. I'm not surprised you took the day off, since you consider your stream to be hard labor.
But
Anyways, here's an informative video for you. YouTube, come watch. Level 6 search for W4.
Thank you. Dumpshot, thank you for the 6 years. Of the 17 months, this will hopefully be read and
No
the
more
reader will
links.
know that I prefer men. No more links. Alright, no more links, chat. You heard it, man.
Died. So there Grape-kun
No
was,
further
stuck
links.
alone with all these other penguins who no longer wanted
sir.
anything
Sure,
to do with him.
Cowboys with the pram
Midori and Denka would have a chick of their own named Beer. This chick would not be sent to another zoo, but instead live in the enclosure with all of them. So for Grape-kun, it would be 7 long years watching all the other penguins around him happily live their lives. while he sat there abandoned and alone. Every day, a reminder of the life he used to have and how things were supposed to be. But in April of 2017, everything would change. It was at this time that zoos across Japan began a collaboration with the anime series Kimono Friends. Kimono Friends tells the story of Japari Park, a zoo containing all different kinds of rare, legendary, and mysterious animals, and some of these animals become transformed into human versions of themselves, or friends. The series was a runaway hit beyond anyone's expectations, and it was believed that because of the show's popularity, the collaborations with the zoos would increase awareness about the animals and also bring more visitors to the zoos. And Grape-kun's home, the Tobu Zoo, would be one of these zoos. So for the collaboration, cardboard standees of the characters from the show
Hello,
would be placed
Sebastian
all
Hans,
around the
Eli
zoo.
Force, known by the pseudonym Forsen. Click my link, Mr. Forsenist American. A classic Keikonen family, land of the free of American #1 Keikonen.
The Humboldt Penguin enclosure, the Humboldt Penguin character Fururu would make her home. From the very first day of the collaboration, visitors would notice the penguin staring at the
Forsen,
anime.
was it really a joke?
Noticing how much attention the penguin started to get, the zoo began to post about him and giving a
Probably.
little bit more of his story. His name is Grape-kun. He's 20 years old, an old man in penguin years. He really likes her. Now, of course, it's really easy to sit there and look at animals behaving a certain way and you got this urge to anthropomorphize them. But these observations, a lot of times, are just us recognizing patterns that aren't really there and don't necessarily reflect what's actually going on in the mind of the animal. But what would happen next would be unmistakable. One day, while looking at Fururu, Grape-kun would extend his neck up, stretch his wings out, and make a call. In other words, he was very clearly trying to court this anime waifu.
Useful advice,
Surely this was
Forsen,
an
insane.
absolutely baffling event for the staff to witness. But perhaps it was a welcome one for a penguin that was known to have such a sad past. So as this story spreads, the internet becomes obsessed with the weeb penguin with the anime waifu. All kinds of articles are being written about him, tons of fan art being drawn, and even the people behind the show are getting in on the fun, with Fururu's voice actress going to meet Grape-kun in person. Although, if we judge by the green line analysis, the 3D woman was simply no match for the 2D woman. But then, tragedy strikes. A troubling image surfaces of Grape-kun stuck behind the fence, separated from his love. Look at my man in penguin jail over here, imprisoned for the victimless crime of falling in love with an anime girl. Rumors began to spread that he had become so enamored with the cardboard standee that he stopped eating, which of course would lead to the worst people on the planet, the internet armchair veterinarians, to talk about how this is actually animal abuse for them to have the cardboard cutout there. But people began to think that he was put behind the fence so he didn't starve to death and they could feed him. The zoo would later clarify that he was eating just fine and the fence was put there so he wouldn't accidentally fall into the pool of poison.
Yes.
Forsen, when were you going to play SCP Secret Laboratory? You have to watch this tutorial before playing Forsen. -10 H.
I'm not too familiar with exactly what all the games are called. Maybe I already played it, maybe I haven't, but there's like a ton of those games. I don't know which one is which.
At other times, he was free to stare at his waifu to his heart's content. So for the internet armchair vets there, suck it, he was fine. So the collaboration between Kimono Friends and the zoos turns out to be a big success. Visitor counts are rising all over the place, especially at this zoo with people going from all over the place to come see Grape-kun. He had become a massive attraction with exhibits made just to spotlight him. But eventually, the promotion would come to an end. And what this meant is all of the cardboard standees around the zoo would have to be removed. What did this mean for Grape-kun? What would happen to
Non-communism.
Fururu?
They
Would she be
just
removed?
made a Netflix movie possibly about Nina. When are you gonna sue them and become a billionaire? Also go 49ers kick on a W.
Would Grape-kun be abandoned
I
yet
don't think
again?
you get a
Ultimately, it
billion
was
for
decided it
suing
would be
Netflix.
best if she remained there indefinitely even after the collaboration ended. And from that point on, they would only be separated one time. In the middle of September, the zoo staff became concerned that a coming typhoon might blow away the standee or destroy it. So they took her away for safekeeping, leading to one of the saddest images to come out of this entire ordeal. Look at that. His shoulders are slumped. He's just watching his waifu get taken away. Maybe forever, he doesn't know. But of course that's better than the alternative where she potentially gets blown away or destroyed and he never sees her again. But of course she would be returned to the enclosure after the weather improved. I don't like that bitch Midori. Grape-kun didn't forget about her. You know, it's kind of funny to think though.
We got a bit too prolonged story, yeah.